This is Failford in South Ayrshire. There are two places where there were fords, at least, across the Fail. The Fail here runs straight into the River Aire, so the ford here has been replaced by a bridge. The other ford was up not far from the ruins of the old Fail Priory or Fail Abbey, just outside Tarbolton. This site is famous for its connections with Robert Burns and Highland Mary. Highland Mary's real name being Mary Campbell, although she was christened as Margaret Campbell. This is the view looking down from the Highland Mary and Robert Burns Memorial. This is Failford, nestling beside the Fail Burn with the River Aire by the woodlands. It came to be their final farewell. That was not intended to be the case. It's thought they had both intended to emigrate to Jamaica. So this fine monument records their final departure. This is maintained by the local Burns clubs and by the Robert Burns World Federation. What we know is that Robert and Mary, following what was thought to be a local custom, passed exchanged Bibles standing either side of the burn. And that was plighting the troth, that was agreeing to marry. Now that was in May 1786. Sadly, disastrously, Mary Campbell is thought to have developed typhoid. Certainly we know that she was nursing her brother who had typhoid, and she died in Greenock. She was buried in Greenock, but there is a statue to her on the hill in Dunoon. Burns had met her in Tarbolton in the church. And at the time he felt that Jean Armour had deserted him. She was pregnant with his children, his child, and she'd gone to Paisley. And their written marriage vows had been torn up by Jean's father, James Armour. Now, she was called Highland Mary because of her Gaelic accent, and she was said by all who met her to be a delightful, attractive but not beautiful, but kind, sprightly, full of life. Highland Mary had worked in various places. She may have worked in Irvine at one time, for instance, but we do know that she worked as a nursemaid for Gavin Hamilton, or one of his children. Gavin Hamilton being the great friend of Robert Burns, who lived in Mauchline. Later she came to work in the byre as a dairymaid at Coylsfield House, sometimes known as Montgomery Castle. So there she was working for Captain James Montgomery, the brother of the Earl of Eglinton. In fact, it's said that she had an affair with him, whether it was willingly or otherwise.